Before starting the video, make sure to smash that like button. Do it now, it only takes a second to do it, and hit the subscribe button and the bell to turn on notifications so you can be informed whenever I upload new Chronicles. Also, visit my website, that is tpchronicles.com. There you can read articles and see videos that cannot be uploaded on YouTube. You don't want to miss those videos. The link is in the description box below. Also, join me on Facebook, Twitter, IG, TikTok, social platforms. If you are down with the campaign, type CN, which stands for Chronicle Nation, in the comment section. Upon that note, let's get into this next video, and it goes like this.
Cases of a rare disease called monkeypox, caused by a less severe cousin of the smallpox virus, are popping up around the globe, including in the United States. The monkeypox virus is endemic to several countries in Africa, which means most of the pictures you're about to see in this piece are from past outbreaks in those regions. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the virus was first identified in 1958 when 2 outbreaks of a pox-like disease occurred in colonies of research monkeys, hence the name, monkeypox. But this is a bit of a misnomer. The natural reservoir for monkeypox has not been identified, but is most likely rodents or similar creatures. Now, since 1970, human cases of monkeypox have been reported in 11 African countries, and the first outbreak outside the continent was in 2003 in the United States. Cases were reported across several states in the Midwest, linked to infected pet prairie dogs, which had been housed with rats and dormice imported from Ghana. An outbreak in Nigeria that started in 2017 has been linked to over 500 suspected cases and more than 200 confirmed cases, and that continues today. While monkeypox generally spreads to people from infected wild animals, such as rodents and primates found in the rainforests of Central and West Africa, but human-to-human transmission can also occur. Back in 2008, I went to the Democratic Republic of Congo to visit where monkeypox is endemic. According to the CDC,
Has the monkeypox? A lot of people say, well, Pastor, the monkeypox been here since 1960 something or whatever. Yeah, it has. A lot of things been here. But what is it that what is man doing? Yes! What about the Rona? That been here too. Now I got speaking codes. But it's a known fact that these body-snatching elements have been taken up notches and made potent. You understand? Yeah, they take bacteria and bring it up a notch, just like aerosol, which we're going to talk about in Soul Reformation. Aerosol that's in the air. That's exactly what they're doing with aerosol. They're spraying it in the air to make you sick. So when they release these body-snatching bacteria, your body, if you're already destroying your body through what they advertising, and then in Zero Chronicles we talking about the propaganda, the Nazi propagandists, how they took their very brainwashing elements from United States of America corporate offices, to where they brainwash you to believe how they want you to believe, to like what they want you to like, to dislike what they want you to dislike, to hate what they want you to hate, to love what they want you to love. So you got people who are not themselves. You're being bamboozled and brainwashed to believe, and your character forms to how they want you. They found a facility called the CDC. The doctor whispered in Rick's ear. Do y'all remember that? Raise your hand if you remember that part. The doctor whispered in Rick's ear and told him everyone was affected. Everyone was affected. Now, I want you to follow me now. Watch this. If you notice, in every movie, every movie possessed the same narrative. There get a little twist to it, but every one of them had the same narrative. Watch this. Rick finally broke the news to his people and said, "We are all affected."
Damn. What's wrong? Been riding red for the past hour. Better make sure we don't get forgot. You out? Running on fumes.
We can't stay here.
We can't all fit in one car. We'll have to make a run for some gas in the morning.
Spend the night here? I'm freezing. We'll build a fire, yeah?
We go looking for firewood. Stay close. We got so many arrows. How you doing on ammo?
Not enough.
We can't just sit here with our asses hanging out.
Watch your mouth. Everyone stop panicking. Listen to Rick.
All right, we'll set up a perimeter. In the morning, we'll find gas and some supplies. We'll keep pushing on.
Glenn and I can go make a run now. Charles gunshots and
But we
gates.
stay together. God forbid something happens and people get stranded without a car.
Rick, we're stranded now.
I know it looks bad. We've all been through hell and worse, but at least we found each other. I wasn't sure. I really wasn't, but we did. We're together. We keep it that way. We'll find shelter somewhere. There's got to be a place.
Rick, look around. Okay, there's walkers everywhere. They're migrating or something.
There's got to be a place. Now, not just where we hole up, but we fortify. Hunker down. Pull ourselves together. Build a life for each other. I know it's out there. We just have to find it.
Even if we do find a place we think is safe, we can never be sure for how long. Look what happened with the farm. We fooled ourselves into thinking that that was safe.
We won't make that mistake again.
We'll make camp tonight. Over there. Get on the road at the break of day.
Is this all right to you? What if walkers come too, or another group like Randall's?
You know, I found Randall, right? He turned. They wasn't bit.
How's that possible?
Like, what the hell happened?
Shane killed Randall. Just like he always wanted to.
And then the herd got him?
We're all infected.
What?
But the CDC, Jenner told me. Whatever it is, we all carry it.
And you never said anything?
What, it made a difference? You knew this whole time. How could I have known for sure? You saw how crazy that
That is
was.
not your call. Okay, when I found out about the walkers in the barn, I told for the good of everyone.
Well, I thought it best if people didn't know.
When they called them the walkers, someone called them biters, someone called whatever. But the walkers just infiltrated the old man. What was his name? Walker? What was his name? The old man. They had Herschel. They had infiltrated Herschel's home and they had to flee from the home. Rick Grimes' best friend tried to kill him, right? And he died. He was shot by Rick Grimes' son, and he turned into a walker. And they had to flee from Herschel's home. And as they fled from Herschel's home, they was out and about on the highway, and finally, Grimes said, "We're going to set up over here. We're going to set up over here." They said something, boom, 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 and finally he came out and said, "Listen, we are all affected." Because one of the guys said, Daryl said, well, how is it that such and such died and he wasn't dead? Yeah, explain that, Rick. Rick said, because we all affected. Now, follow me what I'm saying. He said, we all are what? Affected. Now, watch this. Is that what they were saying to us for 2 straight years, that we all were affected? Is that what they told us? When it first happened, when the pandemic first happened, everybody, we was getting threats from the government, trying to make threats to us, trying to make it hard for us who refuse to take the needle. And what they try to do in a passive way was work through the corporations to get you to take that jab or drink that potion, or you can't work. If you don't take the potion and have a card, you can't travel outside your nation. You can't travel and fish or go on trips or none of that. They tried to shut the world down. But remember what the Bible said, that the iron cannot mingle with the clay. Although they tried to mingle it, iron and clay cannot mix. So it's showing you that man going to try his best to do everything to bring forth this order. But it will not happen. There will be an order. And it will be the coming kingdom of Jesus. But they will attempt for centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries to bring forth this era of Horus. Now watch this. Remember, everybody is affected. Everybody. You have Bill Gates, you have all these people. Everybody must take the jab. And now we're beginning to find out a lot of criminal things are happening behind that. We're going to take a look at that momentarily. A lot of criminal actions are happening. And I'm telling you, I'm sure people coming up dead here and there, so nothing won't be told. And that's what the synagogues of Satan do. They will kill people that was involved. Everybody that can't keep the oath. Anybody that wasn't in the oath, that was working and getting paid for it, they're going to kill them off. Anybody that's, and if there's any weak brothers, like of the 10th or 9th degree, they may be killed off too. It's better to keep it secret than the public to receive it, because as Bush Sr. said, if the American people know what we did, they will run us all down and lynch us. That's what he said before he died. Grimes said we all carry it. Grimes said in The Walking Dead, we all carry it. Grimes kept it a secret.
How could I have known for sure? You saw how crazy
That is not your call. Okay, when I found out about the walkers on the barn, I told for the good of everyone.
I thought it best if people didn't know.
This is why the Bible tells us in the book of Psalms that we should not put our confidence in the government. Because the government keeps secrets. The government keeps secrets, family. Watch this. Grimes said we all carry it. Grimes kept it a secret, and they questioned Grimes, wondering why he kept it from them. They said, no, we need to know why you kept it from them. According to Grimes, this wasn't no political conversation. He said, because I felt like it was better. I felt like it was better to keep it. That's what he said.
Okay, when I found out about the walkers on the barn, I told for the good of everyone.
I thought it best if people didn't know.
wondering why he kept it to himself. He said, I thought it is best that they don't know. Are we seeing this today? Are we seeing this today? Oh yeah. The secret of the Wuhan creation. The secret of the Wuhan creation was a top secret among governments. And guess what? It was revealed to the brotherhood worldwide that this was to be the release. Let me say that again. It was revealed to the brotherhood worldwide that this was to be released through the movies. Through the movies, everybody knew. But you and I, at the time. And all would be affected.
Record numbers of Americans are getting vaccinated against the coronavirus.
The U.S., the most vaccinated large nation in the world.
Dozens of countries are now working to vaccinate their populations in an effort to end the global pandemic.
President Biden says that by the end of his first 100 days, the United States is aiming to have administered 200 million doses. And by May 2021, every American adult who wants one will be eligible to get in line for a shot. That said, 30% of U.S. adults still don't want to get the COVID vaccine, but they may not have much of a choice.
The federal government can require vaccination and things like that for coming in and out of the country. Both the state and city can have vaccine laws based on their legislative authority.
Requiring a vaccine is a health and safety work rule, and employers can do that.
Bonnie Jacobson knows this all too well. The Brooklyn resident was recently let go from her job after refusing to get inoculated.
I was sitting at home and I all of a sudden just opened an email. I'm sitting on my couch and it said, basically, while we respect your decision at this time, your employment has been terminated.
So can you actually be forced to take the COVID vaccine against your will in the United States? To be clear, the White House's chief medical advisor has already said that he doesn't think the federal government will ever make the COVID vaccine mandatory. However, powers at the city and state level, not to mention the legal rights granted to employers under U.S. labor law, may make it pretty difficult for some Americans to evade inoculation against the coronavirus. This isn't as unprecedented as you might think. There are a lot of required inoculations which are easy to take for granted. Just take the chicken pox. All 50 states and the District of Columbia have laws requiring children entering childcare or public schools to have some sort of provable protection against the disease, whether that's a vaccine or evidence of immunity. In fact, schools, from preschool through university, typically require a battery of inoculations before you can step foot on campus.
When I was health commissioner in Washington, D.C., we had passed laws that required anyone who went to a school to be vaccinated against certain preventable diseases.
There are religious, medical, and philosophical exemptions that vary state by state. But for around 170 years, America's schools have done a pretty thorough job controlling vaccine-preventable disease in the U.S. The very first school vaccination mandate was in Massachusetts back in the 1850s. It was to protect against smallpox transmission. By the start of the 20th century, almost half of all states required students to be vaccinated before matriculating. In the early 1970s, schools with a measles vaccine mandate had incidence rates that were up to 51% lower than states without the laws. And from there, school vaccine mandates expanded over the next few decades. But while schools had been requiring vaccines since the mid-19th century, states didn't explicitly have that same power to roll out universal inoculation rules for all residents for another 50 years. In 1905, the Supreme Court case of Jacobson versus Massachusetts set the legal precedent which now allows states to require vaccines.
The Supreme Court said, yes, you can limit individual rights to protect the public health, and one way you can do it in that case is require vaccination.
We've seen states exercise this authority to varying degrees in the years since. Take, for example, the 2019 measles outbreak in New York.
New York imposed a mandate. It imposed an MMR mandate, but it limited it to the neighborhoods where the measles cases were high, and it was accompanied by a $1,000 fine for those who did not have MMR.
Legal experts say that narrowing the vaccine mandate to particular zip codes made it easier to justify in court rather than a statewide mandate. But critics warn that these types of targeted requirements may lead to discriminatory practices.
In general, these things are done at the state level, but big cities, for example, also have vaccine laws. When I was the city health commissioner in Washington, D.C., although that certainly functions as a state, we also had vaccine laws in Washington, D.C.
So far, no cities or states have made the COVID vaccine mandatory, though some places have started the conversation. In November 2020, the New York State Bar Association recommended making the shot mandatory for all residents except those with a medical exemption. And then, of course, there's the biggest rulemaker of them all, the federal government, which in this case actually has pretty limited powers expressly spelled out in the Constitution.
There isn't in the Constitution the power to protect the public health.
Well, the federal government doesn't mandate vaccines. What they do is they make recommendations.
There are, however, softer powers at the federal level that have been used before to incentivize mass inoculation.
The federal government has acted in the public health in the past using other parts, such as its commerce part. So it could, for example, mandate vaccines before you travel in the interstate channels or before you engage in interstate commerce. If you're a truck driver that drives across state, maybe the federal government can mandate that you'll be vaccinated.
The power of the purse is another key tool in Washington's arsenal.
It can pass a law saying states will give you $3 million if you mandate the vaccine, but that's up to a limit. It can't do it to the degree that's coercive.
The federal government could also, theoretically, impose it as a condition of getting a passport. So states and cities can require vaccines, and the federal government has a lot of influence as well. But the big question is whether the government will actually go through with rolling out a universal mandate.
The first challenge is we won't have enough vaccine doses for people who want them. You can't require vaccines that's not available, that people can't get.
Another major factor to consider, none of the 3 COVID vaccines in circulation here in the US are fully licensed by the FDA. Instead, they are all cleared under something known as an Emergency Use Authorization, or an EUA. Until they are officially approved, mandates seem to be off the table. And then there's the even bigger question of enforcement.
Mandates to some degree depend on pretty widespread compliance. You can't enforce a mandate if 40% of your population is fighting back. If the problem is widespread mistrust, mandate won't fix it. You need communication, you need education, you need to earn the people's trust by transparently showing them that the vaccine is safe and effective, by explaining to them the process of approving it, and so forth.
And keep in mind, if any city or state did implement a mandate, the kinds of repercussions we're talking about are relatively tame. No one is floating the idea of jail time or coming to your house and holding you down while they administer a shot. Refusal would probably just mean a fine or maybe some sort of other tax or penalty. Experts say it may also mean you are barred from entry to concerts or can't book a seat on certain airlines. In Israel, for example, they use the green passport to allow access to businesses like hotels and restaurants to those who have been vaccinated against the virus or have already had COVID-19. Implementation, though, might be tough here in the US. So how will this actually play out? Experts tell me the most likely scenario is a repeat of what we've seen in the past. Once the COVID vaccines are fully approved by the FDA, a vaccine may eventually be a requirement for school-aged children in both public and private institutions, starting at daycare and extending to universities.
All will be clamored that you are all affected in the world. The whole world must take the job. The whole world. The whole entire. Never mind about your immunity. Never mind that your body creates its own medicine to heal itself. Never mind, and listen, even government officials, certain governments that's for the people, politicians and senators that's still for the people, was laboring to shut down companies that